Hi everyone, welcome to the session with me. So, in this session, I will give you all a passage, and with that reading comprehension practice passage, you will get an opportunity to check your RC level. So, it's a decently moderate passage, neither too difficult nor easy, and it's just reading comprehension, and yeah, nothing much. So, before we start with the session, the practice session, just want to tell you a few important things. First of all, this is a really important batch. It's not your ordinary syllabus completion batch. It's a batch which is a lot more special than that. Every time you guys give a mock on Unacademy Plus, you'll get a chance to have an analysis of your important mocks. For example, the All India CLAT mock test, you'll get an analysis of CLAT mock test starting from this batch. Now, what is the idea? That the student gives the All India CLAT mock. Now, after giving the mock, whatever queries, doubts, problems you have, you will get analysis classes based on each section of the mock. So Raghavendra will take your general awareness and current affairs analysis of All India CLAT mock. Shubham will take your legal reasoning section. I will take your English section. And Kriti will take your quant and logical reasoning section. Now, once you analyze these mock tests, there are better chances that you will be able to look at your mistakes and at the same time to improve upon those mistakes. Therefore, mock analysis classes where your educators are helping you with mock analysis, helping you clarify the doubts, helping you understand the logic behind an answer, even if you're not able to understand it using the answer key. So this is the the most important benefit. If you're an Unacademy Plus student, make sure that you do not miss these classes. If you're not an Unacademy Plus student, you can get an Unacademy Plus subscription anytime you want, today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, anytime that you want. However, if you want to take a subscription, you can save some money, in fact, by getting a 10% off on Unacademy subscriptions. That 10% off is so NLU Live is the code, which is the code that will give you a 10% off. So the 10% off can be taken by applying a referral code before you make any payment. So what actually happens is when you move on to this page, you'll get the option to finish your payment and proceed how many months of subscription you want to take. So for example, you want to take a 6-month subscription. So here in the bottom, you will get the option to write NLU Live and apply it. So automatically all of these subscription prices will reduce by 10%. Now, when you take a subscription, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने जो एक बैच ज्वाइन करा आप सिर्फ वही बैच अटेंड करते हो, आप बहुत सारे बैचेस अटेंड कर सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल क्लैट 2023 एस्पिरेंट्स का नया बैच 11th मार्च से, and CLAT 2022 aspirants ka revision batch, which is also starting from the 11th of March. And other than this, there are many more batches. So you will get option to take a subscription, but there are two types of subscriptions, Plus and Iconic. Plus has all the important things like live classes, recorded classes. You can choose your educators, watch all the batches by NLU graduated educators, give mock tests, sectional tests, analyze your mock tests, attend all the batches. But there are some extra advantages that only Iconic subscription has. So out of those extra advantages, the most important one is one-on-one live mentorship, which basically means that you will have your own mentor during the Unacademy Plus classes. Like other than the classes, sorry. So other than the classes, you will also have your own personal mentor who will help you clarify your doubts, queries. You want to discuss your strategy with them. This is also something that you can do. So for example, if you take a 6 months plus subscription, you get the classes, the mocks and everything, but you don't get the mentors. If you take a 6-month Iconic subscription, you get 36 sessions with your personal mentor. Those sessions you can choose via a slot in the Unacademy Learning app. Now your mentor is going to somebody who has either cleared CLAT and is studying in any of the top 5 national universities, or have graduated from any of the top 5 national universities, or an educator or someone with experience with CLAT examination. So usually you will get CLAT toppers as your mentors. So therefore you have somebody who's guiding you on a personal level. So you get a lot of personal attention with the Iconic subscription, and live doubt solving sessions and priority in classes using in the raise hand feature. Now, let's move on to the free platform, the free offerings that we have. So from Monday, that means today we've already had a session on legal reasoning doubts. Now tomorrow you have session on quantitative aptitude doubts and moving on to English logic and awareness. So this whole week is a doubt week where you will have free classes on the Unacademy app. If you're using the Unacademy app for the first time, again you need to find the CLAT category there and unlock the free features. Even the free features you need to unlock with a code, which is the same code in NLU Life. And remember, this Wednesday 5 p.m. there was a test, which is an Educator curated test for the English section. So just a small test. Every weekday 5 p.m. there are tests like English, legal, logic, etc. So this Wednesday it's for the English section. Hi Kushi, good evening. So that is all, guys. That's all from my part. Now let's move on to solving a reading comprehension passage, and give me a minute, then we'll just begin. Okay, so this is a really simple RC passage. There's nothing very complicated about it. I hope you will all be able to understand it. Make sure you've zoomed into your screens in mobile phones or laptops, and you can just then you'll be able to read it clearly, I hope. Let's read the passage together. With the answers, I will not help you, but I will help you in reading the passage, okay? So before there were books, before even there was the written word in civilization, there must surely have been stories told. Relating stories to one another is a unique way that we as humans communicate thoughts, needs, desires, and instruction. Whether it be the true story of what happened on the way to the well yesterday, a story meant to instruct about the latest water situations, or a dramatic retelling of a long ago battle, a cautionary tale meant to warn against unnecessary warfare. Stories have the unique ability to bring home information and instruct in a way a mere recitation of the facts cannot. So, what is the first paragraph doing? Always, when you're reading something, you have a passage before you, whether it be critical reasoning, legal reasoning, or reading comprehension. Break it para by para and try to understand the gist, try to understand the summary of each paragraph. So, if I look at first paragraph, it's giving me an introduction about stories. That from time immemorial, even before humans learned how to write, they started telling stories to each other. And there were a lot of purposes, there were a lot of uses attached to these stories. This is what first paragraph is saying. So it's essentially an introduction. So moving on. The tale, the parable, and the fable are all common and popular modes of conveying instruction. Now, there are different types of stories, okay? So, there are three types of stories: tales, parable, and fable. And the passage is focusing on the distinction between the three, okay? So, let's now read carefully. Now, you have to understand that they're going to give you technical differences between the three, so therefore, you need to read it very carefully. The tale, the parable, and the fable are all common and popular modes of conveying instruction, each being distinguished by its own special characteristics. तो of course अब वो हमें tale, parable और fable अलग अलग types की जो stories होते हैं उनके बीच में distinction बताने वाले हैं. The true fable, if it rises to its high requirements, ever aims at one great end and purpose: the representation of human motive and the improvement of human conduct, and yet it so conceals its design under the disguise of fictitious characters by clothing with speech the animals of the field, the birds of the air, the trees of the wood, and the beasts of the forest, that the reader receives the advice without perceiving the presence of the advisor. Thus, the superiority of the counselor, which often renders counsel unpalatable, is kept out of view, And the lesson comes with a greater acceptance when the reader is led unconsciously to himself, to have his sympathies enlisted on behalf of what is pure, honorable, and praiseworthy, and to have his to have his indignation exited against what is low, ignoble, and unworthy. Okay, hi Neeraj. So they haven't given you a proper technical definition of what a fable is, but they've given you sort of a literary, beating about the bush kind of definition of what is a fable. So the passage here basically tells you that, I mean, we don't know what a fable is, but still the passage is giving you some hints. So the hints are that fable is something which focuses not on the end of the story, okay, but it focuses on the human motive, the human conduct of the story, like the human side of the story, the emotion side of the story. And then again, it tells you that there are a lot of fictitious characters, like it's sort of fictional, and at the same time, there is a hidden moral of the story. There are some things that you can learn from a fable, but it's never directly given to you. The when when a reader reads a fable, he automatically understands, he automatically is able to relate to the story. And that is the good thing about fables, that they're not very preachy. They are just they're just very subtle. You read them subtly and you understand the moral of the story without it being super preachy. So this is in short how the second paragraph talks about a fable. Now, moving on, the true fabulist, therefore, is charged with the most important function. He's neither a narrator nor an allegorist. He's a great teacher, a creator of morals, a censor of vice, and a commender of virtue. In this consists the superiority of the fable over the tale or the parable. The fabulist is to create a laugh, but yet under a merry disguise to convey instruction. Phaedrus, the great imitator of Aesop, plainly indicates this double purpose to be true office of the writer of fable. So what is the special quality about fable writers? When they say fabulist, they mean writer of a fable. So what is the special quality about a fable writer? That he doesn't look like he's imposing something, or it doesn't look like he's very actively narrating something, but it definitely feels like that he's teaching us something. There is some moral to learn, there is a moral of the story that we can learn from. So instead of just giving instructions, a fable writer, or through a fable story, you learn something, but which is moral, not steps or instructions or technicalities, but morals and emotions. uh yeah. Moving on, the fable partly agrees with and partly differs from the tale and the parable. It will contain, like the tale, a short but real narrative. तो तुम्हें tale के बारे में एक चीज पता चलती है कि जो tale होती है, these are all different types of stories. So tale भी short होगी, लेकिन उसमें भी एक असली कहानी होगी. और ये चीज fables में भी है, ये चीज common है tale और fable में, ठीक है? It will contain, like the tale, a short but real narrative. It will seek, like the parable, to convey a hidden meaning. और एक चीज है जो फेबल में parable की तरह common है. Parable also is a type of story. कि parables में हमेशा एक hidden meaning होता है, एक hidden moral of the story होता है, और फेबल में भी वो होता है. तो ये दो चीजें हैं जहाँ पे फेबल टेल और पैराबल से मिलती जुलती है. टेल की तरह वो रियल स्टोरी सुनाती है, और पैराबल की तरह उसकी स्टोरी में एक हिडन मीनिंग होता है. Not so much by the use of language as by the skillful introduction of fictitious characters. एंड ऑफ कोर्स फेबल में आपको हमेशा फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स मिलेंगे. एंड यट अनलाइक टू आइदर टेल और पैराबल, अब इसमें डिफरेंसेस क्या हैं? टेल और पैराबल के कंपैरिजन में फेबल में अलग क्या है? It will ever keep in view as its high prerogative and inseparable attribute the great purpose of instruction, and will necessarily seek to inculcate some moral maxim, social duty, or political truth. ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं इसको. It will keep in view as its high prerogative and inseparable attribute the great purpose of instruction, and will necessarily seek to inculcate some moral maxim. Moving on. The tale consists of the narration of a story either founded on facts or created solely by the imagination and not necessarily associated with the teaching of any moral lesson. अब तुम्हें टेल के बारे में बताया कि क्या होता है, तो उन्होंने कहा ज़रूरी नहीं है हमेशा फिक्टिशियस हो, कभी कभी ये रियल स्टोरी भी हो सकती है, लेकिन इसमें मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी होना ज़रूरी नहीं है. Parable is the designed use of language purposely intended to convey a hidden and secret meaning other than that contained in the words themselves. तो पैरेबल क्या है, वो डबल मीनिंग टाइप है कि स्टोरी दिख तो कुछ और रही है बट उसका हिडन मीनिंग कुछ और ही है. सो वो जो डबल मीनिंग इंटेंशन होता है वो पैरेबल में होगा, एंड विच मे और मे नॉट bear a special reference to the hearer or reader. So that's the whole passage, guys. Again, I'm giving you an opportunity to, to quickly read the passage on your own. Yeah. So quickly read the passage on your own one last time so that you are able to solve the questions. आपकी screen पर जितना है, this will remain on your screen for 1 minute and then I will scroll down to the next few paragraphs and your 1 minute starts now. It's been 45 seconds. Okay, moving on. Please read the next few paragraphs. Okay, so it's been another minute. Now here's to question number 1. The passage suggests that the fable is superior to the parable and the tale for none of the following reasons except. You don't have to necessarily write your answer in the chat section. You can just keep your answer with you. And in the end of the session, I'll just tell you all the correct answers. So, statement 1, the fable contains a moral lesson within its narrative. 2, the parable's message may be too enigmatic for a reader to comprehend. And 3, the tale is a chronicle of recent historical events. I'm not going to help you with the answers because I already helped you with the passage and understanding the passage. Next question. According to the passage, which of the following is not a requirement for a narrative text to be classified as a fable? How a narrative text, so anything that gives you instruction is narrating something, Can it be a fable? Can it not be a fable? So there are some requirements. So which of the following is not a requirement for a narrative text to be classified as a fable? Use of fictional characters such as personified animals and natural objects, inclusion of social, moral, political references relevant to contemporary readers, constant awareness of and attention to a particular instructional goal, figurative poetic language to demonstrate the author's creative talent. Every fable must have a moral at the end. मतलब फेबल के जो एसेंशियल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं आउट ऑफ द 5 गिवन ऑप्शन इनमें से कौन सा स्टेटमेंट फेबल की एसेंशियल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक नहीं है वो चूज करना है आपको. पैसेज हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं, एक बार मैं एक्सप्लेन कर चुकी हूँ, एक बार आपको मौका दे चुकी हूँ उसे पढ़ने का. Okay, moving to question number 3. Keep your answers with you. We'll look at the answers in the end. Which of the following best characterizes the claim that the fabulist is a great teacher, a corrector of morals, a censor of vice, and a commender of virtue? This line was given to us in the passage, right? So, from this line, what can you infer? एक तरह से, ठीक है? It's an analysis of the importance of fabulous role in society. It's a conclusion that fabulists must be honored above writers of parables or tales. C, its appreciation for the fabulous ability to multitask. It advocates increased honor and respect for the fabulous. E, it suggests that more and more people should become fabulous. Alright, so this is question 3. Keep your answer ready with you. Again, I'm showing you question 1 and 2 again on the screen so that you can be like so that you can cross check your answer. Like you can cross check which option you're going with and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, now number 3 again so that you can cross check whatever option you're choosing. Okay, here's to the answers, guys. So this was question 1. Okay, in question 1 they were asking you the reasons except like basically फेबल जो होता है उसके ऑथर ने आपको कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स दिए हैं, ठीक है, कि फेबल टेल और पैराबल से कैसे अलग है. तो आपको उसके बेसिस पे फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना था बेस्ड ऑन द डिफरेंसेस दैट दे हैव. सो फेबल इज सुपीरियर, ये सब तो वो सारे इमोशनल से ऑप्शंस थे, ठीक है, तो वो हमारा आंसर नहीं होंगे. So B is the correct answer for question number 1. Moving on to question number 2. The criteria of a fable. Like I said, जो characteristics हैं वो सोचो, फिर जो characteristic नहीं है वो सोचो. Question number 2, final answer is D. You can cross check your answers. And question number 3, final answer is C. So once again, B, D, and C, guys. So I hope the practice session helped you a little bit. We'll keep having such practice sessions every now and then. Kinshu, you have a question here. I'm a plus student, 85% accuracy in AILET marks on logic and English, but I'm lacking behind in GK. Will compendiums be enough for covering the backlog of previous year? Yes, if you're looking for GK and current affairs, you cannot cover backlog with newspapers. Newspapers are good when we want to study what is going on every day. But if you have a backlog and if your backlog